Hello, and welcome back to my channel, where I haven't talked about Warhammer in a long time. That's because I've been doing something that's been taking a long time. So that is, hello, my name is Brian Wheeler. I'm a recent, like several months ago, back in February, uh, finished my active duty service in the Army. I got like heat stroke or something happened. Can't talk right. I left my bite down. I'm thing. That's why it's straw. So it happened a couple of years ago, almost 2 years to that anniversary. But this channel is just where I post life stuff and everything. And I talked about how I started Warhammer stuff. I started collecting things back in last October, and now I've been playing since January. But this May, they started up at the nearest hobby town in Kennesaw a Crusade. Someone signed up to try to like offer a Crusade thing, and I was like, okay, well, I'll do that. And it was uh, what Crusade is basically like a narrative campaign. It's not like a D&D campaign. No, it's not like that. It's where you play through missions and you get kind of bonuses and a bunch of stuff that happen for everything that you have and stuff like that. And it's very involved. We did the Tyrannic War one, then do Prior Nexus. And speaking of that, I need to get the new Prior Nexus cards, but that's just recently out, so I haven't done anything with that yet. But these are. There's a lot of different things that go on with how everything works. Like, because you can get like a bunch of battle honors and traits to add to your army that go from like really good to bad things that happen to your troops if they do out of action tests that are terrible. But you can get things from the Tyrannic War campaign book itself, or depending on what faction you have, you can get stuff for them from the Crusade rules that come from your codex and everything like that. And it's just kind of like this gets confusing. None of us did this seemingly before, and we probably still aren't playing it right throughout the entire thing. So it's kind of like, interesting. But it would all end with a tournament that could happen at the end of the month, which was the end of the month of June. That is what it all culminated with. And if it was anything like before, basically it was like you can do a tournament, you play the RTT rules, whatever it is like that, but whatever you gained from the Crusade League throughout the entire time, you can take into the tournament, giving you an advantage. So it's just kind of like, ooh, cool. So I get the advantage with everything like that. That'd be awesome to try to have something better. Now, the last RTT I did at Hobbytown, I went one loss and two ties. What would happen this time? But first thing about this Crusade was also had to write a write up of all your adventures and everything and put it through. I did for all of them except the last battle. I didn't do it right. It was I don't know. I didn't submit one yet or whatever, but I was kind of like, eh. So, but as far as how many matches I played essentially 13 games. Unfortunately, it was against kind of the same people because a lot of people kept signing up and then they didn't show up, and they said like, oh, we can only play on the weekends, but even then they didn't really show up, and it's kind of like there's only a few of us playing every single time, so it just kind of became like, what are we doing? I played orcs so many times. Like, you have no idea. Orcs so many times. Because one guy, mostly I played against him, and me were the most of the ones going. He had orcs. Another guy had orcs. But it's just kind of like more orcs than anything. It's just like, Or I don't know where all the other players were. I know I get work happens, sad, but it's just kind of like, where are all these players? Like, there was a sister battle. There was a sisters battle sisters player. And that one guy got the verse, and then we never heard from him again. I was like, where? I've yet to play sisters. I've never played sisters yet. And I've played what 60 something games, and I've yet to play anything against sisters yet. I'm like, I want to play against sisters. I don't see how the flames do terribly bad and destroy my army and everything. I want to see how that is. I know their toughness, is easy, but still, that means nothing. So how did the Crusade go? Well, I took a 1,000 point list because you start off with 1,000 points, and depending what you do later on, you can gain requisitions and everything like that to get higher things and play with bigger armies and stuff like that. So the list that I decided to take was a heavy intercessor squad. I'm going to put this on screen so you can see. I still, what? That thumb thing was weird. But I'll show it on screen. A heavy intercessor squad, assault intercessors jump packs, an incursor squad being led by Phobos Librarian, Inferno squad being led by a regular librarian, and my Stern Guard veterans being led by a lieutenant. I had 2 vehicles, the Predator Destructor and Redemptor Dreadnought. I had the execute and redeploy thing on my librarian. So I just made it 990 points with my Vanguard Spearhead, my thing I like doing for my Raptor-inspired chapter from the Raven Guards. The Autumn Brigade Crusade was fun. Now, all the stories and stuff that I wrote of what kind of happened, I have all the records of. I just have to write the one for the last one, but you'll be... my goal is to try to make a thing of that soon, and you get to hear like an audio type thing of all these recordings, but it's an idea. We'll see. So, how did the Crusade go? Well, in order, not including those last 3 games of the tournament, the Crusade went as follows. My first match was against Dark Angels. It was it was like acquired supplies type thing. Again, Tyrannic War type thing. I beat the Dark Angels. So 1 victory. My next match was against Orcs. Lost. My next match was against Blood Angels. I won that. I was like, oh, good. My next match after was against the same Blood Angels player. We tied. Then I versed Orcs. Lost. Blood Angels, the same Blood Angels player. Lost. Finally, so against that one Blood Angels player, the radio goes off, I won once, tied once, lost once. But I didn't see him after that thing. I think he had surgery and stuff, sadly. Orcs lost. Mostly this Orcs player that I'm playing against is the one I'm losing against pretty much every single time. Because that's just evidence. Although there's a different Orcs player, unrelated to the main guys that always played. His Orcs were pirate themed. He made his Orcs pirate themed, which is just kind of like, it was just funny. I beat him the first time, but it was just hilarious. It's like, it's just so funny seeing these Orcs with pirate hats and everything. He called them the Jolly, what do you call them? The Jolly Wah Orcs, and it was like, I love it. Next match against Orcs. The main one I usually verse, we tied. So fortunately, could have almost won, but tied. Finally versed the Tyranids player in the 10th match. Finally someone with Tyranids. I beat them. We tied. I beat him in that. Then back to 2 more games against Orcs. Lost those. And then the final one was against Packbound Zealots of the Chaos Space Marines. Lost that. So, no, we didn't lose that. I had a draw. So overall, my record was 4 wins, 5 draws, 6 losses, something like that. But, despite it all, because I was entering my battle reports on the Discord chat and everything like that, I was number 1 in the Crusade League. That's right, I got to win the Crusade. So even though I didn't get to really do anything, nonetheless I won. Strangely enough, I won. Now I'd like to give a thanks to everyone who participated in the league and stuff like that. But it was just like, wow. You'll see the picture of me holding up the belt and my dreadnought here. I'm looking at it. I was gonna should I show on my phone? But I'm going to show a bunch of pictures from the from all the time that we're doing everything. I was going to show a bunch of pictures throughout the entire thing. So you'll see all these pictures and everything online here. At the end of this video, it'll be a montage of stuff. The only exception is I verse one I played one game regular during this entire 2 month span, and it was against a Necrons player. Now, I've not played Necrons in a long time, and I've not won against Necrons, but I played them, and I took a lot of pictures from that, but I was actually able to win that game, and it was like my first win against Necrons. Woo! Although, to be fair, he said it was like his fifth or sixth game of 10th edition. He hasn't really played as much. He does a lot of D&D and everything like that. And I was like, oh, okay. So, not exactly novice, but it's just kind of like, okay. But I was able to win that. Like, yay! Now, how did the tournament go? Well, unfortunately, only 6 people showed up for the tournament this time. I mean, the last time they did an RTT, it was like packed house. It was like 18 people. But this time it was only 6 people. One of the guys you would usually be able to play, he wasn't able to come, so I know about that. The other people I don't know about or anything. I know time stuff sucks, but this was planned beforehand, but it was only 6 of us. So, what happened with that? Well, the first game was against the normal orc player that I always keep playing and I always keep losing against because it's hard to do anything against orcs when there's so many of them because point wise they're cheap and they can have so many more and for 1,000 point list I have like only 5 guys per unit and they can only get so close and everything like that. Well, still the first game was kind of out in the open. That it was the same mode for every single thing kicking the nest, but the match. The first thing was just kind of like it was kind of an open field spray, so it was just kind of like this is like Civil War style. You know what? I'm going to commit to the bit. Civil War. And that's what I did. We lined up in a line like Civil War, and I just started shooting at him. It was funny. It was just like Civil War style. Screw it. Let's do it. There are Civil War games, mind you. Like there was this older guy met one time. He says he does like the Napoleonic War thing. He says he gets like 600 models per side on a table, just shooting them. Like I can't even. Yeah, I can't even imagine that. But still, it was a lot. It was a lot. So I lost pretty badly because when shooting happens, I do great. When orcs get close, because melee wise, I don't do well melee wise. I don't. It's an area I need to work on in general. I'll talk about that stuff later, but yeah, I lost that game. And then the next game was against the Pack-Bound Zealots of the Chaos Space Marines, that other one thing, and I lost that pretty badly. I feel like I lost that. That was my worst loss on that one. It was like, oh well. So, which is weird because I don't feel like it was when I played them in the draw game. Of course, that game was a 2,000 point thing, and I had much more stuff to play in that. Because the last match I did was it was like one of the end game engagements where it was trying to, they're trying to escape and you're trying to prevent them from escaping. That was my last regular game of Crusade against him, and I was able to tie it. He thought he lost, but because of the point thing he had at the end, he was able to tie it. So I was like, oh. But then the last one was against the Jolly Orcs, ending on a high note. You're playing this all on the same day, and you have about a 2-hour limit because the store's open from 10 to 6. So you have about a 2-hour limit to play these 3 games. And the Jolly Orcs won. So I was just kind of like, oh well. It just, because the center objective, I couldn't hold it. I was the most aggressive I could in that game for the center, and I just couldn't take it for some reason. It was annoying. Or hold it for some reason. I don't know. It was bad. But nonetheless, he won it. We talked it out because we were tired and running low on time, and it's just like, yeah, there's no way. Point wise, it was close. It was like 75 to 70 that I could muster, but because he could just move back on one thing, I'm like, nah, you won. So Jolly Orcs got to win. So I'm sure he was happy about that. So even though I won the Crusade League, as far as this ending tournament, I didn't win a single freaking game. Wah, wah. That's sad. Really sad. So, I was disappointed. I was kind of sitting there just like, I'm disappointed. I tried so hard. I wanted to do better than last time. I did better in my first tournament. So I was just kind of like, sad as that is. So, but moving forward, it's just like, trying to always learn and everything like that. Like my Vanguard vets for a 2,000 point game, I don't think I'm going to necessarily include them anymore. I know they're about one of the only melee kind of things I would have to focus on stuff, and I can put them around on the board and move around. But at 105 points, unless they changed it again, it's not really. I don't know. I don't really. Unless I can start pairing them up with a lot of things, I don't know if I want to really use them. So I'm going to use my infiltrators more to just kind of hold the back objective and stuff from now on. I have a full thing of Stern Guard, like a 10-man thing now. I was able to get an extra Stern Guard thing. I just need to paint them along with everything else. But as far as things I need to get that I'm planning for future, for list stuff, I'd want to get. I do officially want to get a thing of Eliminators, another Lieutenant, Intercessors now, because the whole thing with this new update with the Pariah Nexus stuff, especially with the cards, it heavy favor on battle line cards. Only thing battle line I have is heavy intercessors, so I'd have to get more assault intercessors or regular intercessors. So intercessors, I need to get Terminator bits for the Terminators I have, because someone gave me their Terminators, but it doesn't have the missile launcher thing on them, which is what I need to get for him, and paint him, of course. The Brutalis Dreadnought is next vehicle predominantly that I would want to get. The Brutalis, maybe some Hellblasters. It's just, even though, yes, the Infernus I have, and they can run well at, they could do well at stuff like this and everything like that. Do better at Overwatch, though they changed the Overwatch rule to be like only once per round. I think I'm just kind of almost ready to kind of move on from the Infernus as a mainstay of my army and what I like to play with. I just want to start moving and using things more to the advantage of, like, okay, what can I do? Like, I'm already thinking of getting a captain to kind of pair with a lieutenant for the Stern Guard, or if I run two different Stern Guards squads, have like a lieutenant captain with Hellblasters or so. I don't know. Like, if I won the tournament, because the tournament, if you win, you get to get a box of your choice. And I was thinking, well, if I won something, I could get the. I was thinking possibly the Blood Angel box. Now, with the Blood Angel box, it would have like assault intercessors. No, it'd have like regular intercessors, aggressors, and just stuff I'm looking at. Like, maybe this would be some stuff able to use. Although the Death Watch box, which the guy who plays Orcs, he also has Death Watch, and he's kind of screwed over because Death Watch doesn't get any love, he says, and seemingly they don't. But the Death Watch box actually comes with Lieutenant, and at this point I think I'd be more useful having Lieutenant because I like to shoot more, so those lethal hits might be more valuable to me than having another Librarian, so I'd probably do the Death Watch box because it comes with a lot of the same things, so it's like, that'd be useful to have. But unfortunately, it takes a while to build up with funds and everything like that, so it's going to be a while. Plus, I got other things I'm trying to work on with books and trying to plan puppet show stuff. So I got a lot of things to do, but this is a long-term type thing, so it's just going to take a long time to build up to a level that I think will be good, that I actually do something with, but we'll see. So, did I say I put the Incursive of the Phobos Librarian? I think I did. Now, as far as the future, there's people want to try to do a Crusade again for the fall time. I thought myself I could maybe run it. Maybe. But I would need time because we want to do the Pariah Nexus one. And I've already looked at it through the Wahapedia. And there's a lot of different stuff and everything like that. I'm like, okay, I see what's going on. But especially with the new Pariah Nexus rule set, and I would like to do that with the cards, it just would be, until I get the new cards and everything. I know it's not the same as the Crusade, I get it, but the rules have kind of changed, like with the pivot thing and stuff like that. It doesn't exactly affect me, but it does with one of my vehicles. Like, I ran in the list, I don't know if I mentioned it. I mentioned I had a Redemptor Dreadnought. I had a Predator Destructor. But the Predator, because it doesn't have a circle base, at least mine doesn't, it would cost 2 inches to move it, to do like the pivot. So like a 2 inch movement. Whereas if I had a circle base, it'd be free. So I was just kind of like, well, that kind of screws over my predator in a way. So I just guess like it's just gonna drift. Something like that. But I don't know. So a lot of things planned on the future. I got a lot of things to fix. My predator kept falling up. The last thing I take it out of the storage case and it's got both his things fell off. It's like 3 things fell off of it, and I was like, oh great. As it is, my storm speeder is like broken off its the stand on the thing, so I'm probably gonna have to just like break the stand off somehow and like glue it just kind of like on it. It'll look janky, but it's just kind of like, well, I can't do anything else. So unless you magnetize it, possible. Well, as far as whether I really like Crusade, yeah, a lot of guys we kind of like it because you get to kind of do a lot of stuff. A lot of people were getting epic stuff. They were spending requisition points on that. I don't know how they get all that, but it's just kind of like, how are you spending all this? Like, there are certain rules. I think we were maybe supposed to get more RP than maybe what we were doing, or maybe some people were getting more than what we were doing. Some things are just, I don't know, not adding up to me. And I know some things I screwed up on, like the weapon modification. I thought, ooh, I would add one to the Infernus because it would add one to like it would give them an AP and give them masterwork damage. Imagine Infernus with -1 AP and 2 damage per thing. I know that's Firestorm Assault, but still, imagine that. But no, the weapon modification only applies to one weapon. And I was just like, oh, that's a whole squad? That sucks. But I kept it consistent with the entire group because that's what you do. But overall, trying to understand the rules in the future just gets the stuff we have to work on and everything like that. So I thought the Pride Nexus thing, it looked like there's team stuff with it. So either way, oh, that's all I got to say for this video and everything like that. Going off to go do some other things. I will talk to you later when I have another Warhammer type-esque thing to update. And I think that'll probably be I don't know, if there's nothing really special, like maybe if I verse sisters, I'll talk about it again, but maybe the story background. You kind of give an idea of what lore type thing I gave for my Autumn Brigade, stuff like that. That'd be kind of interesting. Other than that, enjoy all these pictures of this montage of all the rounds I've played in these past few weeks, including the one time I versed Necrons, which is unrelated to the Crusade, but still fun to have. So I hope you enjoy, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.